Welcome, 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 welcome. Day 18. Day 18. We're a little bit behind, but we're still working through them. Day 18. Now, this is where exactly where the course should start making professionals uncomfortable, and parents should start going, "Oh, I see what happened. I see why that happened. This is not surface level training. This is tradecraft." This next video is day 18. Sharper. It's going to go deeper. Hopefully people will like it, and hopefully people get more from it. So it's good. So this is the day where people suddenly reinterpret their last 6 to 18 months in court. Basically, expert reports, professional power, and the illusion of independence. The illusion of independence is an illusion. You think they're independent, but they're not. Look, let me say something out loud that's going to sound outrageous if you've never been inside this system properly. Most parents think expert report exist to discover the truth. They don't, absolutely do not. They exist to manage risk, and manage risk for the court. And that is one misunderstanding that has destroyed more cases than bad parenting ever has. The court ready plan, family court ready plan. And this is where we explain why expert reports, Cafcass recommendations, psychologists and social workers and independent professionals so often feel off. Not wrong, just not evil, just misaligned. If you've never walked out of a hearing thinking they didn't even hear what I was saying, this is why. The first lie, independent expert. Let me start by this phrase everyone throws around like it's sacred. Do you know what I mean? It's an independent expert. There is no such thing as in family court as an independent expert. There are only court instructed professionals operating inside institutional constraints. That does not mean they're corrupt. It means they are not free. Every expert report answers the unspoken question before it answers anything else. What conclusions will create the least downstream risk for this court? Not what is morally right, what is factually perfect, but what feels fair, but what is the safest, what is defensible, but what will survive appeal, what will not explode later. That's the frame. Once you see that, everything else makes sense. Why your evidence didn't land. Here's something no solicitor explains properly. Experts do not weigh evidence on the way you think they do. You think evidence works like this. Strong facts equal clear truth equals fair outcome. Experts experience it like this. Emotional congruence, narrative fit, risk containment. So when you say, I had screenshots, logs, recordings, timelines, and they say, yes, but I have concerns, they're not ignoring your evidence. They're downgrading it because it doesn't fit the narrative safety envelope. If your evidence makes the situation more complex, increases conflict, forces decisive action, creates institutional discomfort, it becomes dangerous. Dangerous evidence gets softened, reframed, or quietly sidelined. The unspoken scoring system. Here's the bit that nobody tells you. Now, experts are constantly subconsciously scoring parents on things that never appear in the report headings. Things like how predictable you feel, how emotionally manageable you are, whether you escalate complexity, whether you accept professional authority, whether you reduce workload or increase it. This is why two parents can present the same facts, and one is labeled as insightful and child-focused, whilst the other is labeled lacking insight and defensive. Same facts, different signal. Why truth tellers often lose. This is uncomfortable, but it's vital. Parents who tell the truth, the unfiltered truth, too early, often lose credibility, not gain it. Why? Because the system is not designed to process raw truth. It's designed to process stabilized narratives. When you bring long histories, context, psychological nuance, pattern recognition, institutional critique, you are asking the expert to do more cognitive labor. And under the pressure, humans default turn to simplification. So complexity gets labeled as obsession, rumination, hostility, fixation. This is why people say, the more I explained, the worse it got. Yes, that's right. That's what happens. Because you were increasing cognitive load, not reducing it. The expert's hidden incentive. Here's the part that makes sense, that makes professionals quietly wince. Gosh, experts are not rewarded for being right in hindsight, spotting subtle coercion early. They're taking unpopular positions. They are rewarded for reports that don't get challenged. recommendations that stick, outcomes that don't boomerang back. So experts naturally lean towards gradualism, middle ground, process over decisiveness. This is not malice, it's career survival. Why recommendations feel vague? Ever noticed how expert reports are full of phrases like further work may be beneficial? A phased approach is recommended. Concerns remain. That vagueness is intentional. Vagueness protects the system. It protects professionals. Simplicity creates accountability, and accountability is dangerous in a system built on a collective diffusion of responsibility. The mistakes most parents make at day 18, here's where people go wrong. They think, I need to convince the expert I'm right. And that is the wrong move. You need to convince the expert that your position reduces risk to the child, the process, the court, the professional. This is why calm, boring, predictable parents slowly win the ground. Not because they're better parents, but because they're easier to institutionalize. The reframe, this changes everything. This changes everything. So here's the reframe I want you to take away from today. Take notes. Stop asking, why won't they see the truth? And start asking, what risk am I accidentally signaling? And then ask, how do I reduce that signal without abandoning my reality? That's the game. Now, today's work is uncomfortable, but powerful. I want you to write 2 versions of your case narrative. Version A, the truth narrative, the bare truth, everything you want them to know, everything. And I mean everything. Yeah, all context, all injustices. This is for you, not the court. This is for you, not the court. Do not hand this into court. Version B, the institutional narrative. Minimal emotion, predictable framing, child-focused language, and reduced complexity. Clear future orientation. Then compare them. Notice notice what disappears. Notice what survives. The gap is where most cases are lost. Family court doesn't reward honesty the way people think it does. It rewards containment. And once you understand that, you stop taking things personally. You stop spiraling and you start playing the game with clarity instead of rage. Day 18 isn't about giving up your truth. It's about sequencing it. And if you learn that skill, you become very hard to derail. Tomorrow, day 19, we're going to talk about something even more dangerous. Why delay is often a strategy, not a failure, and how to stop time being weaponized against you. If this landed, sit with it. If it hurt a little bit, good. That means you're learning what most people never do. You're still in this and you're getting sharper.